So this is what I ordered, and we'll see what comes with it. Looks like we got a bag of goodies. And, well, here's some wire ties, fusible link. Here's the actual connector. And then this is what I needed, right? A converter. Here's a ground wire. These look like they plug right in, plug and play, right? That makes it easy. We'll see how well this goes. Another wire. Okay. Well, let's go hook it up. Funny thing is, I don't see any directions. Nope. No directions. Nope. Well, let's see. We'll figure it out. So I got it laid out. The wires look plenty long. This looks long enough to drop down. I guess this will be mounted behind the light somewhere underneath, because these are going to be on that side. And then my ground wire, I'll put where I had the other ground wire. The green wire looks like it's plenty long to go all the way over to this light. So far everything looks plug and play. The only difference is this needs a hot wire, and I guess that's why they gave me the fusible link with all this wire, because this is going to have to go under the seat in the back, behind the passenger seat. The battery is under the seat, and I'm going to have to hook this up to something. I already removed the screws from the light. Unfortunately, on this one, I took the screw out and I dropped it, and it went straight down. So I got to dig that out. So I'm under the car. Here's the old one I just installed that did not work, and I ran my own wire over to this light, and I was able to do it without taking nothing apart under here, but unfortunately I got to take this apart to get the screw out because it fell down inside here. So I'll start removing that to get the screw out, and then we'll start installing the new one. Alright, got the screw out, removed the light, and you can see my connection from the old wire. I'll have to take that back apart. So it looks like you unplug that and you plug it in there and there. So let me get started. So you unplug the light, and then you're going to take this, plug it in there, plug it in there, and then we can put the light back together. So I removed my old wire, tape that up, and I could probably use this wire to pull this one up and fish it through the bottom. Alright, so I got this side, this light off, and disconnecting that. I dropped that down, got to run it over and pull it up on this side. Okay, so I threw some cardboard on the ground because I'm going to be laying down there. So under the car, this is the driver's side where you're going to drop everything down. You can see my green wire. It's pretty open down here, so you can just put that through and then maybe cable tie it later. It just runs all the way over here. Now, I did have to take this off to get that screw out that I dropped. So it's probably easier just to take this off anyway. You're going to have, let's see, 2 screws there, 3 across the side, 2 up in here. This one's going to be a little hard because you might need an extension, but you can get it out. It's not that hard. This will drop out. I don't even know why this is on there. It's pretty open in here. It wasn't like a compartment or something. Here's my old green wire that's running up there to the light, and I'm probably just going to tie this to it, pull it up, and we'll go from there. Alright, you don't even need that pull wire. You can get your hand all the way up here and just push it up there and out through the hole, and then you can just pull it out the top. And again, we're just going to Plug it in there, and then we'll button this up. So that's pretty self-explanatory. They're pinned male and female, so you really can't plug it in wrong, but they do have it marked. I guess if you want to know, the red one goes on the light, and then the gray one just goes on here, and then we can put our light back together. So far this has been pretty easy. Everything's plug and play. Again, the light just came out with the Phillips screwdriver. I put it in by hand, just so you don't over tighten these, because they are just going into plastic. And I pulled this off just so I had some room to work when you swing the light out. But you do have the one on the other side. So I'll put this one on, and then I'll take that off and work over there. Well, it's just laying up there, so I think I'm going to get a big cable tie and wrap it around so that that's not bouncing around in there, coming loose or making noise. Okay, you can see I got my cable tie so that that's not going to bounce around and come loose. It's nice and tight up there. So I'll secure the rest of the wire, and I'll put this cover back on, and then we'll be done with the passenger side, and we'll work our way over to the driver's side here. So I got the box back in place. Again, you got that screw here, and then there's two here, 3 across the side, and then 2 here. Now all the screws are the same size, same length, so you don't have to worry about them going in the wrong place. Just make sure you get them all in and start it by hand. Otherwise, you put one in and tighten it, it'll move, and then your holes don't line up. So get it all started by hand, and then if you get them all in, then tighten it. All right, so there you go, that's done. All right, so I removed my other setup that didn't work, and now I'm on the driver's side. I got this plugged in, but before I plug the other end into the light, I have to mount this somewhere, so that's going to have to go in there somewhere. I'll get that secure. I got to drop this down, run that through, and secure that, and then I guess we're on to hooking this up to the battery. So hooking up the ground wire, again, make sure you scratch off some of the paint to make sure you get down to bare metal. That way you get a good ground. Stick it that way. Alright, got my ground wire hooked up, and I got my soldering iron heating up, because I'm going to solder this wire to the one they give you here. Looks like it's going to go 12, positive 12 volts is this one, and I'll solder that to there. So when soldering, you're going to put a little bit of solder on each wire, called tinting your wire. And the most important part about soldering is remembering to put your shrink tubing on first. Very important. So I got it soldered, and I remembered to put the... So I got it soldered, and I got the shrink tubing here. I'll just heat that up, and then we'll run that wire. So just the wind is blowing it. Okay, I think we got it. Pretty good. So now that that's connected, I think we could just drop this in here right to the bottom and worry about running that later. And then we gotta mount this and put the light back. I dropped everything in there. So now I'm ready to plug the light in. I'll get this buttoned up. Oh, the frustration. Okay, here's what happened. Trying to put the light back in, and I was missing one of these. And here, it was still attached to this. I couldn't get it off. I got a screwdriver, pried it off. This thing went flying. So about 20 minutes later, I found it, but when I was looking for it, rolling around, I burned myself on a soldering iron that was still hot. So that's cooling off. Unplugged it. But let's get back to putting the light back in. So I'll just pop this little thing back in. And where was I? Okay, that snapped in. I just gotta get the screws in. So with the light back in, that's my 24 volt, and that's the connector. So underneath the car, I got plenty of wire, which is nice because I could put this anywhere, but I'm gonna mount this and put the rest of the wire up here. The controller, what do they call that? Converter. I mounted that there. There's actually 2 holes factory that aren't being used, so I got a bolt and a nut and just mounted it up there. The wires go up to the light. This hangs down here. So the only thing I have left to do is run the 24 or the 12 volt, right? The 12 volt power, and mount the connector. So I think I'm going to run the 12 volts along the brake line here and follow it to the back seat and see if there's an access hole to get where the battery is. There we are, back seat, passenger. There's a pull tab here, lift up on the seat, and that comes up. Under here, this cover, there's your battery. So we have to connect to the positive on that. It looks like the wires come up from the bottom. There might be enough room to get the wire through there. We'll take a look at it underneath. So underneath the car, there's all these heat shields and whatnot, but there is a cover here that you can see. There's a rubber boot, and I think that goes up into where the battery is. Okay, so let me show you what I did here. I had to start pulling covers off. First thing you want to do is take this one off, put that aside. Then you're going to have to wiggle this one out of the way just to lift this up. I couldn't get it out, but the clips just pop out real easy, but the way it's in there, anyway, if you can get your hand under here, there's that rubber boot. I was poking around in there with a coat hanger, and this little port popped out. Well, it's got some kind of cap on it. I don't know if you can see that, but I couldn't get that cap off. So I poked a hole in it and ran my cable through that hole. So it looks like it's going to be sealed, you know, so water can't get in, but I poked a hole in it, ran the cable through, and then pulled it out the top. So this is my wire, and I'm slowly pulling it out. So I don't know if you can see in there. Compartment here. Got all the covers on and got it up to where the battery is, and now I can connect it to the 12 volts. But this is the hardest part of the whole job, is running this wire along the bottom of the truck. I mean, you can run it any way you want, but you're going to have to run this wire and secure it, keep it away from anything hot or moving, and get it up into the battery compartment. That's what takes the longest doing this whole job. Everything else was plug and play and worked really well, but this will take the longest. Here's our wire. Now next we have to put our fusible link. They give you a 10 amp fuse. I guess we'll cut this. So we'll cut that in half and strip that. Put one end on there, on the positive, and I'm gonna solder the other end on there. Now in this kit that they give you, they give you some wire ties. I'm gonna dump this out. They give you some wire ties, that screw for the ground. I used my own. Here's some double-sided tape, I guess for that converter. I screwed it on. They give you some butt splices. Again, I solder my wires, but they do give you this ring terminal. However, it's a little big, so I used my own. There it is. So I'm going to crimp the my own ring terminal, and then the other end I'll solder. So I got my ring terminal, which will go on that end, and then I still have to solder this end and then secure it, and we'll be finished. All right, got it soldered, heat shrunk, and I just have to hook this up to this, and we'll test it out, see if it works. All right, let's see. We got left turn signal and we got right turn signal. Already checked reverse, brake, and the headlights. Everything works. See, I couldn't get that to work. The other way I had it hooked up with that other connector, this would blink so fast, like you had a bad bulb, and the other side wasn't working at all. So at least this is working. So I'll save my old set. I mean, this was brand new. It'll work on some of my older vehicles, but again, this was like $8 versus what I pay, 47, maybe 50 bucks for the other one, because I guess for the hybrid, I don't know if these are LED, but they're a 2-wire system, so you need that converter. So now we know. Thanks for watching. All right, so this is what you need to order to get that to work.